Greetings, everyone. This is Todd Bacon from offroading101.com. We're out at the beach today, and we want to talk about recoveries. We encourage you not to go alone when you're off-roading, but if you happen to be out there by yourself, it's nice to have some of the equipment to be able to help recover yourself. Now, we're going to go over a few things today, like traction boards, some rolling traction boards, some track grabbers that actually attach to the wheels, and then our wonderful dead man anchor that we're going to put into the ground and show you how to recover here in just a little bit. All right, so I just want to share where we're at right now. I went ahead and put the vehicle in two-wheel drive, and then I sank it so that the back wheels were stuck. If it was a true two-wheel drive vehicle, we would not be able to get out of this without some type of assistance. So we're just going to run around here a little bit so that you can see what we've got. And then we're going to start using some of the tools that we have laying right here to see how well we can recover. We're going to try our traction boards, and we're going to drop these in underneath. And the proper way to use those is we're going to dig in just a little bit on both sides, put them in and get them up so the tires can roll up on them. There we go. Got it set on this side. Now, one of the key things, if you ever go outside and do off-roading, I would suggest that you get a handy-dandy shovel, something that you're going to be able to dig in with. This one actually has a pickaxe on this side of it, so you can dig into the dirt a whole lot more. It makes it a lot easier to be able to set yourself up for a recovery. So we're going to use this, and we're going to dig in a little bit here, and then we're going to put the traction board underneath the tires to see if we can use that to get us out. Pull forward just in two-wheel drive using the traction boards, and we're going to see how well this works out. Here we go. Walked us right on out. So traction boards, really like them so far. Now we're going to take a look at something that's called a traction mat, but it's a roll-up, so it's nice and neat to carry like this, and it rolls out. Very easy to use. It's lightweight, doesn't scrunch in on itself. And we're going to try these out right now to see how well they work. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to dig just a little bit, not much, just enough to get the mat in there. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Come with me. There we go. Now, let's see how well that works. Now we're going to try the traction mats. We're still, again, in two-wheel drive. And all we're going to do is just kind of take it nice and easy and see if the vehicle can pull itself out with those mats. And here we go. Slow and easy. Ooh. Not as easy as the traction boards. Let's see if we need to back this up again. We'll try one more time going forward. Nope, not at all. I don't like this at this point, so we're going to have to try and reset them. Digging a little hole. So we're going to try it with just a little bit deeper one, and we're going to see how well this works. Here we go again, nice and easy. It doesn't feel any better. It just feels like it's spinning. So now we're going to try this one more time again. I dug the angle a little bit more so it makes it a little bit easier for the tires to get up on the mats. Let's see how she goes. Oh, now this is interesting because we got up on the mat and then we got stuck. All right, so you've seen the traction mats just failed and actually curled them underneath the vehicle or underneath the tire, so we couldn't get out to it. So what we're going to try now, just for fun, because I like to think outside the box, the traction mat is underneath the wheel. I can't get it out without digging it or trying to spin the vehicle. I'm going to try and just use our traction boards on top of those. Nothing else. And see how well that works. Okay, here we go. All right, so here we go. All we did is we left the traction mats down in there. We added the traction pads or traction boards. Let's see how well it works now. Easy peasy. No struggle whatsoever. Traction boards are still in it for the win. We're going to start with something now called the traction grabber. Something new that I had seen online and want to see how well these work. So basically these are blocks that we're going to put right onto the tire and use this to help grip us out. Now I've seen this done with logs with tractors before. I've seen it done with 2x4s, 4x4s when you're out in the farm and you're trying to get some stuff done. The idea will come across real well. This is just nice and neat. So let's show you how they work. I'm going to lay on top here. I'm going to run this through the tire. It's all Velcroed along here and here, so once we get it in, we can Velcro that in. Now that's kind of like what we've done. We've done this with a 2x4, but obviously it sticks further out. You got to make sure you have the clearance in here. But this is going to give us a nice little grip, hopefully, to get up and out. So let me go do the other side. All right, so now we're going to try the track blocks and see how well they work. Let's start off nice and easy. Interesting. It's struggling. They're holding on. It seems to be slowly working it. I don't think they're getting me anywhere. The traction blocks, not as good in the sand. We'll have to try somewhere else. Now we're going to try something that's a little bit more interesting, which is dead man anchor. And this thing is designed to be put down into the ground and then hook up to a winch system. So in this case, yes, we could use four-wheel drive, walk right out of this, but we're going to go ahead and use two-wheel drive with the winch, showing how well this works. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and use the winch on the beach with the dead man anchor. You can see that the vehicle's stuck, so we're going to just go ahead and pull this out. Now, a couple things that I learned from the last time that I tried to do with this. You would think that because it has a point, that it will dig itself right down into the ground. It does not always do that. And we're going to show you that here. So I'm just going to kind of get this angle in here, pound it in a little bit. And then I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Now I've got the vehicle in neutral. We're going to try and use the winch just to pull us out using this anchor. We've shoved it in a little bit. I'm going to hold it down. Let's see what happens when we start pulling the winch line up, if it actually digs into the sand. So you can see from there, just setting it in the sand is not going to work. We have to do a little bit more digging. We'll be right back with you. So now we're going to try again with it dug down into the ground a little bit and see if this will help it work a little bit. Hang on and let's see. Again, we're just kind of pulling it a little bit. I'm going to hold it by the handle just to see if I can force it a little bit. And all we're doing now is just plowing the ground. So not going to work. We got to figure out something else with this. I think I know what's going to help. Okay, so now I've buried it in the sand. Not real deep, but I buried it in. And we're going to see if that was enough to start making it come a little bit. Still going to hold on to this just a little bit to make sure. Not looking like it's going to do us any good at all. The vehicle is not moving at all. I'm just digging a nice big hole in the ground. All right, so after some good discussion with my wife, we sat here looking at it. We have not been successful with one of these anchors, and this is the second time that we've tried it. And what we decided that if you have to have a shovel to dig a hole to even come close to make this happen, why not go back and try and dig out from underneath the tires? It might be a whole lot easier to do the work because this thing is heavy. It's about 45 pounds. This is not. Just something to think about. So what we're going to try now is see if we can utilize two-wheel drive and the winch and the anchor point to see if that's going to help us out. So I'm going to have my wife and we're going to work together as a team. And I'm going to have her put it in drive. And we're going to try to work the vehicle and the winch at the same time to see if that's enough to get us out of the sand pit. All right, we ready? Okay, just easy forward. Come on. Ah, look at this. Keep coming. Beautiful. And that's a success. So using it under dead weight obviously didn't work. Using it with the power of two-wheel drive and the anchor point seemed to work. So I'm assuming that the logic would be the same with your four-wheel drive. This was a success, but it's a lot of weight to carry around with you. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video, and hopefully you learned a couple things from our experiences out on the beach. I would like to kind of set the stage a little bit so that you understand what we did while we were out there. We were on a beach where the sand was very hard packed and it was not loose. I actually had to work very hard to get the vehicle stuck. And that being said, the experience I'm going to share with these tools were based on that situation. Different situations might yield different results. So we're just going to use this as a learning experience, and as things go on and I get more experience with them in different situations, I'll update the videos as well. So what I would like to start with are the track boards. These things were the clear-cut winner out of the weekend. They did really well. The traction mats, not so much. And I really started doing some digging and looking at these, and I think the main difference between the traction mats and the traction pads are the fact that the traction pads here actually have raised items in here to be able to get into the grip of the tread of the tire, where these really do not. So if the tire was wet, the sand was a little damp, it basically just acted like wet rubber on wet rubber, and it just went across. It really did not perform. So we're going to try this in a few other areas. Not writing these off yet, but they did not work for us well out in the sand. These track grabbers right here, I really had high hopes for those, thinking that they were going to work very well. I've used something similar for these things in the past, but it was much longer and wider. We put these on, and you could see from the vehicle that as soon as the
got down to the bottom of the sand, the vehicle would pick up and then it would drop back down in. And what it actually turned out to do is it was just digging the trenches even more. I might have been able to get out had I really jumped on it and made it try to work harder, but it didn't seem to work very well. Plus, getting these things off were very difficult. I actually had to use my Leatherman to try to spread the buckles apart so that I could get it away from the Velcro because it was so tightly in there. I was almost considering cutting them, which would make them a single use. I've got some other things we're going to try with these again, but these were also a failure for our situation. The dead man anchor, it was a failure from the standpoint where you were just trying to pull the vehicle on its own with dead weight. Dead man anchor, thought it was a good try. But once we put the vehicle in drive and helped the vehicle out with the wheels and this, it did come out fairly easy. Now, one of the things that I want to say on this one, this is heavy. And anytime you go off-roading, you need to make sure that you secure these items. So not only are you carrying around an extra 40-something pounds of weight on this thing, you now want to make sure that it's strapped down into the vehicle. So not only is it taking up space, it's taking up weight, and it's very cumbersome to use. When we found out the track boards were very lightweight, and it worked very well getting it out of the sand, and it even fixed when we put it on top of these, and these failed, so it brought it up. To me, I'm all about convenience, and this is much more convenient. I can find a way to store these in the vehicle up and out of the way where I can get to them fairly quickly. These, I don't think I like. These didn't do as well as I had hoped. This one's nice, but it's too much effort, my opinion. So hopefully you learned something out of the recoveries that we showed you over the weekend and be able to take away some good things out of that and spend the money wisely. Spend it for things that will work for you. And that's my goal here, is to be able to test things out and share them with you so you can learn from my videos and then be able to make a educated purchasing decision. That being said, this is Todd Bacon from Off-Roading 101. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you real soon.